Hi, Original Soul. Let's do a reading for the new moon in Gemini and see what type of energy is out and about and available. Welcome in. Thanks for being here, sharing your energy. And let's get into it. All right, we're going to get a card out of this Black Moon Astrology deck. And we'll see what comes out. I've got the book for this one next to me, so we may read something out of there. We'll just see what's up. A little white butterfly flying around by the window. Maybe some transformation energy or some sort of purity or trust. But let's just see what comes out with the cards. Okay. Cutting the deck with Mercury Mind. All right, we got Aries, I am. And I kind of did that little laugh because I just finished another reading where Aries energy was out. This number 13 was out. I just talked about transformation with the butterfly. 13 is related to the death card. So I guess I'm not totally surprised that energy is coming into the new moon reading since I'm doing them right around the same time. All right, but Aries, I am. So this could be about putting yourself first. Really tapping more into your fire and power energy. Maybe we'll get a couple keywords here out of the book as well. Just let's see what it has to say. The quote on here is, I guess I'm just a natural warrior. So maybe you are, like I said, kind of tapping into your own power, your own internal warrior energy. All right. All right, so there could be competition, zest, lust, speed, feeling stirred, being a leader, weapons, or sports. All right, so there's just a couple keywords coming out of there. We'll add some tarot to this here. Let's see what wants to come out. So are you fired up about something? And with cutting the deck with the Mercury Mind card, and this could be something that you've been thinking about or ruminating on, and you might be ready, since this is new moon in Gemini, to actually communicate that, to say something, to put it out there, tell someone else, make what's in your head a reality in your physical world. All right, so let's see. Yeah, Ace of Swords, so you could be speaking some sort of truth, gaining more clarity. And this is, and you're kind of slicing your way into a new beginning here. So that could be with your words and communication. Again, something that you've been thinking about for a while. There is a little firefly on this card. So maybe you see fireflies around out at night. All right, and then with the Chariot, and like I mentioned, with more trust, you could be leaning on your own intuition. And you could also be seeing dragons. That also came out in the last reading, as did Pink Lotus. And really moving forward with your internal faith, right? Supporting yourself, but also feeling supported by, the universe, or if you tap into your spirit team or guides or anything like that. Let's see here. Let's get one more. And whatever you're setting out to do, like, this really does have the potential to be really successful. Chariot is a card of success. Ace of Swords, again, that could be about being a leader, putting yourself out there. And one of those keywords was about fast movement, right? So things could be happening even quicker than you expected. With the Three of Cups, yeah, this is going to be something to celebrate. Maybe this is something that has, your loved ones sort of gathering around you, supporting you, uplifting you. You could be doing something that does bring people together, but whatever it is, it does have you feeling uplifted, joyous, ready to celebrate, happy, all those sorts of emotions. So this does feel like really good energy in whatever this, I want to say new direction, where you're kind of putting yourself either at the front and center, or, just really doing things that feel good for you. All right, we'll add a card out of Moonology. See what wants to come out here. For the energy surrounding the new moon in Gemini. And whatever you are doing and moving towards, you're doing it in a really grounded way. Like you're really grounded in your choice, your decision. Like you feel really strongly about it. Okay, we got a couple cards out of Moonology. Let's see what we got. Have faith in your dreams. So that's where that trust comes in. Again, with that Chariot card, that is about faith, can be about spirituality as well. Hold your vision. And what do you need to release? I think I mentioned the word like slicing your way. I don't remember exactly what I said, but there is potentially something that you need to cut out to move forward, right? But really knowing that your dreams are important and holding that vision, not getting distracted or deterred, keeping the Chariot on track as you move forward. All right, why don't we add a couple tarot cards to it here? I'm also noticing kind of a little white butterfly on this card as well. So maybe butterflies show up for you. All right, Four of Cups. So with have faith in your dreams, Four of Cups came out and he looks pretty disappointed. So there could be something emotionally, maybe this is in the past where, things didn't really work out the way you wanted. Things aren't happening the way you wanted. It's got you feeling down. And maybe like nothing is really going to come to fruition. Nothing's going to happen. So that's just, again, that feeling of disappointment or even maybe a little bit of depression and not really letting that get to you. Again, holding that hope, holding your dreams, having faith that what you're envisioning is going to come true and is going to come to fruition. And it's okay to feel that way, but not letting that be the overriding energy, not letting that totally derail you. Right? We all run into things where we do feel disappointed, down. We hit some of those bumps in the road, but again, continuing to move forward with Hold Your Vision with Two of Cups. So this could be with some sort of partnership, and maybe it's a partnership with yourself. Right? Maybe you've kind of always relied on other people or put all of your other connections as a priority, and you might now be making the connection, right, this I am, as the important connection. So really focusing on all different aspects of yourself, really understanding yourself better and finding a blending there. This could of course also have to do with an actual love or partnership connection, whether it's a friend or some romantic sort of interest. So holding your vision that, that love that you're seeking, that love that you want, not only are you finding that within yourself, right, but then noticing once you're able to build that self-love, you start to attract that externally as well, right? So again, not letting things that didn't work out or that disappointed you be what has you manifesting in the future. Because again, that energy of whatever step you take, whatever you set out to do here is going to end in feeling like you want to celebrate, is going to have some sort of like partnership coming in, some sort of joy. All right, so not really leaning into those feelings of disappointment, right? Letting those pass and then picking yourself up and moving on, moving forward. That feels like a lot of cards came out with what do you need to release. Let's see what we've got here. All right, so there could have been some sort of deceit or lies, or just something that had you, feeling like something was a little bit shady. Maybe there was a lack of trust with someone else or even with yourself. Focusing again more on self-care and nurturing, really making your energy and your goals your top priority, right? Not letting what's happened in the past, again, derail you from what you want to move forward with in the future. And not letting maybe the way, like if somebody lied to you about something, maybe not taking that totally to heart, right? Like just dealing with it and moving on, and really realizing like you didn't deserve that sort of thing, right? Not taking it on as, something that should have happened to you or it's because of you or anything like that, right? Letting that be someone else's behavior. And you can just take that and focus on yourself, right? Like maybe you learned a lesson about somebody or a situation, and now you know that. Okay, that's information that you can take to make better decisions going forward in the future. Again, it's hard not to take everything personally, but this could be like you need to cut that person out and focus on yourself. Or you need to get out of the drama or the lies and sort of that toxicity, and really just hone in on, again, your own energy, what you want, what you need. And when you do that, right, you're going to find some success. A little bit of fire building, finding motivation. And like I said, whatever you're setting out to do is going to be successful. That already came out. Six of Wands is another card of success. And like I said, you could have people gathering around you and cheering and excited about what you did. There's sort of this like monster's head in this bubble. And again, I'm just really feeling like, you're kind of putting whatever that manipulative situation or person, or maybe it's even a side of your own personality, and you're kind of putting that in a bubble, not letting that ruin everything that you envision for your happiness, right? And again, maybe you are cutting that out, releasing that, leaving it behind, and really then moving forward and focusing on your Nine of Cups, on your happiness, right? But it will take some of that self-love, self-work, putting energy into yourself. Again, we've got this I am card, so you are making yourself a priority. All right, let's see here. We are going to get, what is this, an angel guide message before we close it out. But overall, this feels really positive, right? There could have been something shitty that you've been dealing with that really did have you very disappointed. And you kind of see the true colors of something. But again, not dwelling on that. And taking steps to move forward. Because again, there is a lot of success and excitement available to you. So maybe it is time to make your move. All right. Maybe for some of you, you're actually moving. All right, let's see what comes out of the angel guide deck, angel message here. Cutting the deck with self-acceptance. So again, that really to me is tying into this Queen of Pentacles. Again, making yourself the priority. All right, let's see what we get out of. There we go. Ooh, vulnerability and freedom. I love that. All right, so being more vulnerable, and maybe that's admitting your own feelings to yourself. Again, with this Ace of Swords, this could be coming out with some sort of truth, especially after there's been possibly some sort of manipulation or a little bit of deceit, whether that's internal or external. So being vulnerable, letting yourself be more open, right? Finding that trust like we talked about as you work through this transformation, and then ultimately that brings you a sense of freedom. right? A sense of lightness. And that is definitely something worth celebrating, because whatever this is, like, you're making this happen, right? It's your actions, your choices, you're making this happen ultimately, to whatever this next phase is. But it does feel exciting. It does feel uplifting. Maybe even feels like you can finally just breathe. All right, so that's what we've got here for this new Moon in Gemini reading. I don't know, let me know if there was something helpful here for you. I hope there was. And I'm excited for whatever your next steps are, whatever you're kind of putting out there here, possibly in the short-term future. All right, thanks so much for being here, showing up, and until next time, peace.